and we are going to be chatting with you. And sorry, I'm trying to figure this stupid thing out. Jenna, it's still doing it again. I don't know. You got to request me, I think. I don't know why this is so crazy here. So I'm gonna figure this out. Anyway, clean eating and how awesome it is to eat clean, how you feel to eat clean, improving Jenna, adding Jenna. So clean eating.
Yeah. So just real quick to explain to everybody that's watching, like what happened was basically like I was on my computer and you can't invite me from my computer. So I can type to you, but then I needed to move to my phone. And so you just weren't patient enough.
I know. I was like, why is this not working? Jenna is watching, but she's the only person I can't invite, so this is not working out very well.
I just relax, everybody. I'll be there. So anyway, go ahead. Do your thing, girl.
All right. So let's chat about clean eating, because clean eating is something that we all need to be doing and we all need to be a part of. And it's super simple, and so many have this misconception that clean eating isn't easy, that it's hard, that it's super expensive, that who the heck clean eats, and only these healthy, skinny, crazy people do this clean eating stuff, and they must really only eat kale and veggies, and like that's it. But clean eating is actually super simple. It's really just about staying on the outer perimeter of your grocery store, not buying all those nasty box foods, and staying away from all of those foods that have a ton of preservatives in them, because honestly, if it can survive the apocalypse, if I could talk this morning, like Twinkies and cockroaches, you're probably not going to want to put that in your body. So that's far from clean eating. So your veggies, your fruits, your meats that are, if you can go organic and grass-fed, that's super amazing, but I know that can get a little expensive for you guys. But really, it's just the fruits, veggies. What else am I missing? Nuts, seeds, oils, all of that kind of good stuff. Something that would probably go bad. Hey, Kelly, eventually down the line, like within a week or two. Not something that's good in your, I almost said closet, your cupboard for like 2 years. Yeah, the bomb shelter for 2 years, because seriously, think about how nasty that stuff is. Anyway, Jenna, I'll let you take over.
Yeah, I mean, going along those lines, the thing is that we can eat like an entire bag of potato chips, and there's a reason for that. It's because there's no nutritional value in it. And so there's actually this like chemical or mechanism or whatever you want to call it in your brain that will tell you when you're full. And so if you're eating all those, proper nutrients, like Sydney mentioned, the outside of a grocery store with your fresh produce, your fresh fruits, your meats, and all that stuff in it, your brain will tell you, hey, you're full, you've eaten enough. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like when you eat a steak, that first bite is like the best steak ever. And then by the end, you're like, I'm not really that hungry. That's actually that chemical in your brain releasing and going, you know what, you're full. You don't need this anymore. You've gotten the nutrients you need. But I don't know about you guys, because I'm a super salty person. I can eat an entire bag of Cheetos and never get full. But by the time I'm finished with it, I want to throw up because I've eaten so much food that I feel sick to my stomach. And it's purely because that mechanism or that chemical or whatever is not releasing in your brain to say, hey, slow down, you're full, you don't need any more of this, because you're never getting those nutrients. So it's really important that you're feeding yourself with those foods that are going to fuel your body with energy and tell you that you're full. Because guess what? If your body is telling you you're full, that's how you can maintain your weight or lose weight or whatever it is that you're looking to do with your like weight and fitness. It's going to be telling you for you. You just have to be willing to listen to your body. So why bother clean eating? Well, I just named a couple of those reasons right there. Is that, you know, your body's going to tell you when you're full. You're going to have fuel and energy to get through your day. I know I feel way more energized when I have a good breakfast of like eggs and maybe some like sweet potatoes and a vegetable than I do if I'm eating McDonald's biscuit, bacon, egg, cheese, whatever type thing. And it actually has a psychological effect on you. So I also know that I'm a very emotional eater. So if I'm feeling sad, my like go-to is to grab that bag of chips and just start stuffing my face. And guess what happens? I feel sadder, I feel madder, I feel more depressed. It's just this never-ending cycle. So if you're feeding yourself with those foods that your body is craving and that it needs to survive and give you energy and fuel and clearer skin and all that jazz, you're going to be a more positive and happy person like Sydney and I are. And, you know, you kind of want to like, you're kind of annoyed at us because we're so happy and positive sometimes. Also, it's cheaper than eating out. Let's be real. I don't know.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like sharing this because I love talking about this topic in particular, and I want to make sure that like we're getting the most out of this, you know? So let's talk about clean eating on a budget because, like I said, when I first started on here was clean eating can be expensive, or at least people think that it can be super, super expensive. When all reality, it just depends on, one, what you're buying. If you're buying in season, it's going to be way cheaper. If you're buying your fruits and veggies that are in season wherever you live, the cost goes way, way down. Another thing is, you know, not overbuying what you're planning on making. So sometimes I find myself getting super, super excited going to the farmer's market, spending $100 on all of these awesome veggies and fruits and stuff, just to come at home 3 days later and go, oh my gosh, half of that is like not good anymore. What did I do and why did I do that? And I guess that's one of the things that happens when you're nut about stuff like that. But you know, so it's money management, and you have to really figure out what is going to work for you. So for me, if I'm buying fresh, I go to the grocery store a couple of times a week because that's the only way that I am going to be able to save money in the long run and not waste all this food. A couple other ways is, you know, processed foods it is cheaper. It tends to be a little cheaper, but here's the deal with processed foods. So I tend to say pay the farmer now instead of paying the doctor later. And that really helps with your money. To be honest with you, in the long run, do you want to pay for diabetic medication, heart disease medication, stuff that's going to prevent your kidneys from shutting down? That shit is really expensive. Excuse my language, but it is. That stuff is so expensive. And when all that stuff starts adding up, your health deteriorates, your bank account depletes. I mean, it's just insane on how that works. So look at it in a broader perspective when it comes to cost management for your foods.
Not to mention, and even though the processed food is cheaper, you have to eat more of it because, like I said, your brain's not going to tell you you're full. So, you know, ramen might be 25 cents a pack, but how many ramens do you need to eat to be full and feel satisfied to like get through your workday?
And speaking of ramen, how swollen do you feel after eating all of that sodium? I don't know about you guys, and maybe it's just because I've been clean eating for so long, but as soon as I start eating a bunch of sodium, like I feel like a big O sausage, like bloated, gross, disgusting. My toes feel like sausages, my fingers feel like sausages, my ring starts to not be able to fit. It's not fun, man. It's really not fun. A few other things that you can do to decrease the cost is, okay, so you're staying away from processed foods. You're obviously staying away from fast food, we hope. But cutting out the alcohol. I mean, I do, not right now, I will, full disclosure, I do not love my wine right now. I have not had it in almost 7 months, actually probably a lot longer than that, or any alcohol for that instance. But cutting that out completely, or, you know, even just dropping from going from a glass of wine a night to a glass of wine a few nights a week is really, really going to help, one with your budget and one with the waistline, because that all hits us ladies right in the gut. It doesn't go anywhere else, nowhere else that we would love it to go. It goes right to the gut. And then on top of that, let's see, saturated fats, you want to cut those out, but make sure you're eating healthy fats. So your avocados, your nuts, your seeds, all of that kind of good stuff. And you can find those in cost-effective ways. For one, the huge thing right now is going to Aldi. Aldi apparently has this great, great organic produce line, and it's cheap. Just don't forget your quarter for that grocery cart.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. Like, I'll know that I need to eat vegetables for dinner, and I don't actually pick out what the vegetable is until I go to the supermarket and I see what's on sale, because then it allows like more flexibility in my budget, and I'll figure something out to do with zucchini if zucchini is on sale versus the broccoli that I had in my head that I was going to have. So,
right.
yeah.
And not only that, but you can also buy all these veggies and fruits frozen, and then they last you a little bit longer, and it's a touch cheaper too. I mean, it's straight up cut from the vine and thrown, and I almost said blanched, right? And then frozen. Hopefully it's not bleached. And frozen, so it's still got all of them great nutrients for you that fresh veggies and fruits do.
Yeah. Which kind of brings me to like the tips that I have, because obviously time is a huge thing when you're eating clean. Frankly, I hate dishes pretty much as I hate cooking. And the thing is, like Sydney said, buying those frozen vegetables, I'll flip them over at the supermarket and I'm like, okay, all that's in here is broccoli, and it says organic broccoli. They just cut it up and froze it for me. Of course I'm going to do that, because that's going to take a lot less time than me chopping my own broccoli and getting it ready. When I was teaching full-time, did not want to be spending my entire Sunday meal prepping and planning. What I do want is something that I can grab and go, because I'm totally that convenience girl, like just heat and eat it. But I don't like dishes, and I don't like spending hours and hours in the kitchen. So with that said, I've written down a few tips and tricks. I wrote them down here so that I would not forget any. But like I said, I'm the takeout girl. So if something is not prepped and ready to go, I will likely order a takeout, and then there goes my budget out the window. There goes any healthy choices, because they add a ton of sodium and stuff to it. And I mean, that list goes on. So buy frozen vegetables, big thing. Just flip that bag over and make sure that that's all that's in there, that you're not buying something that's like sodium xanthate and you're like, what is that? I don't even know like what that is. So just as long as it just says, you know, broccoli or corn or carrots or whatever on the back, you're good. It's totally legit. Pick recipes that have overlapping ingredients. So that's huge, because there's so many like meal plans out there, and it's great that you want a variety, but if you have broccoli one night for dinner and carrots the next night, and the next night is butternut squash, and the night after that is spaghetti squash, what ends up happening is, especially if you're cooking just for yourself, you have all this like surplus of all these vegetables, and who knows what to do with it afterwards. You're like, oh great, now I have all this, now what do I do? Well, you can freeze them yourself for one, but it's so much easier if you say, okay, I'm gonna have broccoli mac and cheese on Monday, and then I'm gonna have this chicken and broccoli on Tuesday, and now you've got the broccoli overlap there, and it's going to also save you money when you go to the store, because you're not buying 10 different vegetables. Don't get me wrong, vegetable variety is good, food variety is good, but make it easy on yourself and just have some overlapping ingredients, so you're not buying like 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. Multitask. So I will turn on my rice cooker, I'll have something in the oven, and I have something on the stovetop, like cooking and ready to go. And so it takes this like 3-hour cooking event down to an hour, or however long it takes to cook all those items, because we all know chicken can take forever sometimes. So multitasking is huge. And then, you know, that rotisserie chicken at the store, that's actually a really good alternative if you don't feel like cooking chicken. You can actually just pull it off the bone. It's not like ideal because obviously they're going to add more sodium to the skin than you would if you were making your own. But in a crunch, my go-to meal when I was teaching would be I'd get frozen broccoli. I would get frozen, it was like a quinoa and brown rice mix, and then I would get that rotisserie chicken, and all I would do was portion it out into the containers, put a little bit of teriyaki sauce on top of it, and stick it in my fridge, and it was done. Like 5 minutes is what it took me to prep the entire week of this really yummy teriyaki chicken, rice, broccoli, or whatever vegetable I felt like on sale, because I wasn't chopping anything. I didn't have to cut anything off the bone because Sprouts had literally just chicken, like no skin or anything, like packages. So it was so easy to put together. So don't get stuck in what you want to eat. Go in with like that open mind and be like, how can I make this easier on my life? Which I think brings me to Sydney and I's like next point. So next week on Monday, the 22nd, which is the day before my birthday, we're going to be doing a week-long group about clean eating. So this obviously was just an overview because we want to kind of give you the knowledge and the base, so to speak, of what to do and how to do it and why to do it. But next week we're going to be doing recipes. We're going to be giving workouts. Sorry, I just kicked my little tripod thing that I have set up here. Recipes, workouts. You're going to get 7 days worth of meals out of it, and it's going to be pretty badass, if I do have to say so myself. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit more and you just want something like a week long, we've already got a pretty awesome group going right now. With some people already set up and ready to go. But if you're down, just shoot me a message or comment on this video and let us know, because we'd certainly love to have you and share some of our favorite super easy, user-friendly, we don't like dishes recipes.
And you can shoot me a message too.
Yeah, you can shoot her a message too. Message or comment on this, whatever works.
They'll both be worth it. We'll figure out. Yeah, the group is going to be fun. I'm super excited. We've done this group before. It should be awesome again.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, today is kind of that last day to join. So this video will be up through tomorrow morning so that you can rewatch it and get those tips again. But then it'll be coming down, and I'm going to work on uploading it to YouTube so that you can watch it later on. But we just wanted you guys to know and have that heads up that really kind of today is the last day so that you can have, you know, the time to get ready for the group next week and kind of kick next week's ass. Sorry. Sorry for the language. Sorry, guys.
Oh well.
All right.
But yeah, that's it.
Let you close out, Sydney. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, you guys, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. We love sharing what we do, how we do it, easy ways to do it, and how essential clean eating and all of that jazzy fizzleness is. Because it's super important. It's super important to stay healthy, to stay young, to stay lively, and you do that by eating great, clean foods. So with that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday.